Hey everyone, welcome to Relatively Refined. My name is Paula. In today's video, I have a huge book haul to share with you, as well as some other fun bookish content. If that sounds like something that you'd enjoy, then stick around and let's get started. The first weekend in June, I think it is, the Charleston Public Library, Friends of the Library, has a huge book sale. In fact, I think they call it That Big Book Sale. And it's a 3-day event, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And they have every genre you can imagine, just tables and tables. It's held in a huge auditorium, tables and tables of used books that have been donated, and they are very reasonably priced. So I went to it last year, and then I went again this year, and don't come for me in the comments. I went bananas this year. I went crazy and I bought a ton of books, and I can't wait to share those with you. So I have them all laid out right here, and I'm just going to get started, and in no particular order, I'm going to share with you all of the books that I picked up at that big book sale. Okay. Now, I am fully aware that there's no way that I can read all of these books this summer. And in fact, I have some other books that I'm going to share with you that I have taken out of the library or acquired before the big book sale, and that I am reading through. So the first part of this video, and maybe the only part of this video, is going to be me sharing my library book haul. If I have time, I will also share with you what is on my summer to be read list, and also a couple of the books that I have already read since being on summer vacation. But let's get started first with this ginormous book haul. The first thing that I'm going to share with you is several books. It is a collection of the Laura Ingalls Wilder Little House on the Prairie books. Now, I do have several of these books. I loved these books when I was a little girl, and this is almost a complete set. I'm actually thinking it's missing the very first one, which is Little House in the Big Woods, and I believe that I do actually already have that. I know that some of these are duplicates, but I got them because someday I will have grandchildren, and I would love, if I have a granddaughter or grandson, to share this set of books with him or her, because I love them so much that I'm sure that they will be well received and well loved by a grandchild as well. So these books were all 99 cents. And I think, what are there? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a set of 7 of them. So about $7 for this. And like I said, it is missing the very first one, Little House in the Big Woods, but I do actually already have that one upstairs. So I think this is pretty much a complete set. I'll have to research it and double check, but it's at least a good start on a complete set. Let me just set these aside. The next book I picked up was this little tiny book by Fred Rogers. It says, it's called The World According to Mr. Rogers, Important Things to Remember. And who doesn't love Mr. Rogers? And it is such a cute little book. It is filled with just little quotations, little nuggets of wisdom from Mr. Rogers to make you feel good and kind of give you some pick-me-up and inspiration. And I thought what I would do with this is to bring this book to school and keep it on my desk. And, you know, it's just fun to look through it and read his little, pearls of wisdom. In times of stress, the best thing we can do for each other is to listen with our ears and our hearts, and to be assured that our questions are just as important as our answers. I love Mr. Rogers and just that whole gentle spirit that he has. And I saw this and I thought, what a sweet book, and perfect for me to bring to school and, keep on my desk. Okay, I did also pick up several mysteries, and these are great books to read over the summer. I don't know that there's no way I will read all of these this summer. No, I doubt it. I have several others, as I mentioned before, that are out from the library, etc. But I am good for books for quite some time now, so I don't have any anxiety that I'm going to run out of something good to read. Okay, I did pick up a Hercule Poirot Agatha Christie novel called Dead Man's Folly. I can remember seeing this exact book on my mom's bookshelf or on the coffee table in our living room when I was a little girl. So I thought this would be fun, and I do love a good Hercule Poirot mystery. And this is just a little book, perfect to take to the beach. You could probably read it in almost one sitting at the beach. So I got that. Then I picked up several mysteries that are new to me, mystery series. This one is called Death at Gallows Green, a Victorian mystery, and I absolutely love the cover of this book. I know they say don't judge a book by its cover, but sometimes I do judge a book by its cover, or at least I'm drawn to a book because of its cover. This is by Robin Page, and it is the second in the Victorian mystery series. The back little blurb says, Catherine Ardley is everything the Victorian English gentlewoman is not. She's outspoken, free-thinking, American, and a writer of the frowned-upon penny dreadfuls. She shocked her ancestral home at Bishop's Keep and captured the interest of Detective Sir Charles Sheridan as they solved their first case together. So this is the second case, and I'm figuring that Detective Sheridan will probably be featured in this one as well. So once I read this, I will come back and update you on how this particular book is. Okay, this is not actually a mystery. This book is called Dear Mr. Jefferson, Letters from a Nantucket Gardener. Now this one I thought looked so interesting. It is nonfiction. Well, it's actually written in almost in letter form, I believe. And I think that is called an epistolary novel when it's written that way. But this one, when I read the back, I was just very intrigued. It says, for years, novelist Laura Simon had been building a garden around her Nantucket home, nurturing onions from wispy, pungent seedlings, spreading manure in early spring, harvesting in fall, and with the passage of time, she longed for a correspondent with whom to exchange reflections on seeds and soil, to share her stories and her passion for gardening. Unable to find such a person, Miss Simon turned to the works and letters of 18th century statesman and horticulturist Thomas Jefferson. Thus began an only slightly one-sided correspondence between Miss Simon and the Monticello gardener himself, interweaving her own observations about past and present with selected passages from Jefferson's writings. Simon has crafted a true epistolary adventure filled with history and humor, a literate guide to gardening and living a well-cultivated life. I just thought this sounded so interesting and so good. I do love gardening. My whole family does. Both my sisters, Kathleen and Patty, have beautiful gardens. My father always had gorgeous gardens. We all inherited that love of gardening and digging in the dirt from my parents. So I think this is going to be a great read. And when I finish this, I plan to pass it along to my sister, Patty. Okay, let's see. Also not a mystery book is this particular book. It's called The Library Book by Susan Orlean. Now, I do love books about books as well. So this is really caught my eye, just the title of it. And like I said, you know, I sometimes do judge a book by its cover. And this cover was very, I mean, it just was easily noticeable in the stack of books because of the color. And then, of course, the title, The Library Book. But it sounds fascinating. It is, as I said, it's a nonfiction book. On the morning of April 29th, 1986, a disastrous fire broke out in the Los Angeles Public Library. By the time it was extinguished, the fire had destroyed or damaged more than 1 million books. Over 30 years later, the mystery remains. Did someone intentionally set fire to the library? And if so, who? Weaving her lifelong love of books and reading into a thrilling investigation of the fire, award-winning New Yorker reporter Susan Orlean, hailed as a national treasure by the Washington Post, delivers a mesmerizing and uniquely compelling book that manages to tell the broader story of libraries and librarians in a way that has never been done before, revealing how these beloved institutions provide much more than just books and why they remain an essential part of the heart, mind, and soul of our country. Now, as you know, I love a library. I've mentioned that before on this channel. I've taken you to the Timrod Library. If you haven't seen that video, I will link it above and down in the description box. But I do love a good public library, or any kind of library, honestly. So I think this book sounds really, really interesting, and I'm super excited to start reading it. Okay. Also, not a mystery. I picked up this book, Cold Sassy Tree. I believe there's a movie made from this. And it is a hilarious and passionate book, one of the best portraits of small town Southern life ever written. And I've not seen the movie, so it's not spoiled for me yet. But I probably will, once I do read it, I will check out the movie. But I'm very excited to read this book. I love anything about small town Southern life. I find that very interesting, and just, interesting to think about, days gone by. And so I'm excited to read Cold Sassy Tree. Okay, now I am going to get into a series of different mystery books. This book, I've not heard of it, but it looked so interesting. The cover of this book was super interesting. It's called The Crime at Black Dudley, an extremely fine tale of death in an English country house. Now, that is the classic kind of cozy mystery or British mystery that I love. Death in an English manner. And it says on the back, who's likely to like this? Fans of Dorothy L. Sayers, Agatha Christie, and the golden age of British mystery. Well, that's me. So I had to pick this up. And honestly, I think I forgot to tell you the prices on these. This particular one was $3. Some of the other paperbacks that I'm going to share with you were 2 for $1, so 50 cents. But this one was $3. So I'm excited to try that. I also picked up a book by Georgette Hare, and this will be my first Georgette Hare novel, or mystery, I guess. It's called Why Shoot a Butler, and I'm a country house murder, or a country house mystery, I guess. Sorry about that glare. And I've heard so many people talk about Georgette Hare, and I do have one other one in my possession that I haven't read yet. So I thought what was this one? This one was also $3. I would pick up this book and get started with my Georgette Hare reading. If you have read Georgette Hare, let me know. Do you have a favorite? This one looks like it is a standalone. It doesn't look like it's part of a series or anything like that, but on the back it says, every family has secrets, but now they're turning deadly. So I'm excited for that. I picked up another Georgette Hare novel called Devil's Cub. And this one says, Devil's Cub is one of Georgette Hare's most famous and memorable novels, featuring a dashing and wild young nobleman and the gently bred young lady in whom he finally meets his match. So that sounds like such a good read. So I'm very excited to get started on these 2 books. I'll probably do a little organization of these after I share them all with you, but put them in some kind of order and figure out what I want to read in June, July, and August. And then as I read them, I will report back to you. I'm also thinking about picking out one of these books to do as kind of a book club book read for July. So if that's something that you're interested in, I'm trying to figure out, I've talked about this before, but I'm trying to figure out the best way to do it. But maybe for our first one, I'll just pick a title, and then I'll have a way for you to email in your thoughts about the book, and we can kind of just all do a group read and exchange ideas and thoughts about that. There may be a way to do some kind of an interactive type of video. I have to look into that. I know there's a way to do a live video, but I'm not sure how to do that, and I'm not particularly techy, so that'll take some education on my part. But anyway, that is kind of what I'm doing. So if I do decide to pick a couple of books to use as kind of book club picks for all of us to read together, I will certainly let you know. And let me know in the comments if that sounds like something that you'd be interested in doing as well. I picked up this book. It's called Silenced at the Summer Social by Elizabeth Ducey. I've not heard of her or this novel before, but retired school teacher, clerk to the parish council, devoted churchgoer, Josephine Hilson is the proverbial pillar of the community. But apparently not everyone in the community sees her that way. And at the end of a warm September's day with the summer social winding down, Josephine goes to meet her maker in the swimming pool at Mountjoy Manor. Suspicion falls on the Wooster twins, Peter and Paul, who argued with her just before her death, but they swear their innocence. So, a retired teacher, a summer murder mystery, sounds good to me. So I picked that one up. I think this one was $2. I found a hardback kind of vintage copy of Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie, and I just love the vintage looking cover of this. I couldn't resist it. I've seen the movie Murder on the Orient Express, but I've never actually read the book. So I've seen it multiple times, but I think it would be really fun to read the book. And again, it's a short book. What does it have? Maybe 225, 230 pages. So a quick read. So, and I just couldn't resist that kind of vintage cover. Let me just see if there is a date in here. This was the 1960 version. I thought it looked kind of vintage. So from 1960, Murder on the Orient Express. Then I found this D.E. Stevenson novel, Mrs. Tim Gets a Job. And I've not ever read any D.E. Stevenson, and several people have recommended her to me. So I was happy to find this at the book sale. This was $1. It's just $1? Yeah, just $1. This was $1, and so I certainly could not resist that. So I grabbed that and am looking forward to reading that this summer. I do think I'm going to keep this on my summer reading list. Let me just say, this is the description on the back. With husband Tim stationed in Egypt and her children at boarding school, Hester Christie, affectionately known as Mrs. Tim and based loosely on D.E. Stevenson herself, finds herself at loose ends until her friend Grace finds her a job with the formidable Erica Clutterbuck, who has opened a new hotel in the Scottish borders. So I'm very excited to read this, and I'm certainly hoping to get to this summer. Let me know if you are a D.E. Stevenson fan, or if there's another one that I should read, what your favorite D.E. Stevenson novel is, because I know that she's very, very popular. Hold on one second. I can hear Hazel at the door, and she wants to be let in. I'll be right back. Well, it wasn't Hazel, it was Phoebe who was at the door. So she's up here. You can't see her. She's off camera. Let me see if I can turn you around and you can take a look at her. There she is. Hi, Phoebe. Yeah, good girl. Okay. All right, let me keep going. I mean, this is crazy, the number of books I have. Like I said, don't come for me in the comments, but I couldn't help myself. And it's for a good cause, right? That's what I kept telling myself as I was filling up my book bag with tons and tons of books. It all goes for a good cause to support the library. Okay, I picked up this one by Carolyn Hart called Engaged to Die, and this looks like just a fun, cozy mystery. Is it part of a series? It's a Death on Demand mystery by the author of April Fool Dead. So this looks like a really just a fun, quick and easy summer read. And I grabbed that. I picked up this Daphne du Maurier book called Echoes from the Macabre. And I don't know, I've not ever read any Daphne du Maurier, but this is the one, apparently, this particular book is what Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds movie is based on. So I think it's more of a thriller, really, than a mystery. We shall see. When I get to this, I will report back. Have you read this? If anybody's read this or any other Daphne du Maurier books, let me know what you think. But I also thought this looked rather vintage as well. Let me just see if this has a copyright date in it. This is 1976. That's what this particular version is from. So I grabbed that. Oh, this book I thought was just such a beautiful little book. It's called A Little Princess, and it's by Frances Hodgson Burnett, who of course wrote The Secret Garden. And this is a book that was originally, I think, published in around the turn of the century, 1905, something like that, as a story, a short story called Sarah Crewe. And this book, A Little Princess, is the expanded version of that short story. So I was really happy to find this. It does have some beautiful book plates in it, like gorgeous illustrations. I don't know if you can see that. Beautiful illustrations, color illustrations throughout. It has those very pretty gold pages on the edge. It's just a lovely edition. It reminds me a little bit of the Penguin Blooms editions of the Jane Austen novels that I have. So at some point I will read this. I may even bring this to school and see if any kids at school want to read that, but I was happy to find it. I also picked up this book called The Vanishing Type by Ellery Adams. And I've not read anything by Ellery Adams, although I guess Ellery is probably a male. He's a New York Times best-selling author. Let me just see if there's anything in here. Oh no, she's a female. Ellery Adams has written dozens of mystery novels. She lives in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. So I was wrong, it's a she. But the reason I picked up this particular book is because it is a secret book and scones society novel. Now, I want to be a member of the Secret Book and Scone Society. I think that's perfect for me. I'm going to have to form my own. In fact, maybe I will start a book club, like an online book club, and call it the Secret Book and Scone Society. I think that would be absolutely perfect. Let's see. I love Rhys Bowen. So when I saw a Rhys Bowen book there, I did pick it up. It is Love and Death Among the Cheetahs. And this is a Royal Spinous mystery. I love that series. I love Rhys Bowen. I just finished a Rhys Bowen novel, which I will share with you. This is getting to be too long, so I think I'm going to have to make a part 2, and I will do an update on my reading life in part 2. But I am super excited to get started on this Rhys Bowen novel. Another favorite, and one I always remember my mother reading, is P.D. James. This is The Black Tower, and it's an Adam Dalgliesh mystery, and I loved the Adam Dalgliesh BBC series. I absolutely love it. So I was happy to see this. I think these books were this one was $3, and I think the Rhys Bowen one was also $3. This is let's see, where does this take place? Just recovered from a grave illness, Commander Adam Dalgliesh receives a call for advice from the elderly chaplain at Toynton Grange, an isolated nursing home on the coast of England. But by the time Dalgliesh arrives, it is only to discover that his friend, Father Batterley, has mysteriously died, as has one of the patients. When the bodies begin to pile up, Dalgliesh once again finds his own life at risk as he determines to get to the truth behind his friend's death and unmask the terrible evil at the heart of Toynton Grange. So this should be really, really good. And as I said, I'm a big Adam Dalgliesh, P.D. James fan. And I picked up this book by Tana French. It's called The Searcher, and it's called a novel. I think it's actually maybe like a thriller mystery type of book. A lot of people recommended Tana French to me. I've not read anything by her. So when I saw it, I thought, you know what, for a couple of dollars, I'll pick this up and give it a whirl and see if I like it. I'm not typically a thriller book reader. I much prefer the mysteries, the cozy mysteries, or the cozy adjacent mysteries like Dalgliesh or Agatha Christie. But this on the front, it says, maybe her best one yet, its own kind of masterpiece. So that's high praise. I thought it would be worth at least picking up and giving it a go. So I picked up that. And then the last mystery book in this part of the haul that I picked up, because I think there is a huge stack. I'm going to have to grab them if I have time. I don't know if I'll have time to share them with you, but I'll go through them as quickly as I can. This is The Thin Man by Dashiell Hammett. I loved the Thin Man movies, and I've watched those and I absolutely love them. So I thought this would be really fun. And I can remember my mom having Dashiell Hammett books when I was a little girl, seeing those as books that she read. So this will be a good like mystery noir. So the back is great. It says, Nick and Nora Charles are Dashiell Hammett's most enchanting creations, a rich, glamorous couple who solve homicides in between wisecracks and martinis. At once knowing and unabashedly romantic, The Thin Man is a murder mystery that doubles as a sophisticated comedy of manners. So I love the Nick and Nora movies. And as I think I mentioned that in my last video, actually. So I was excited to find that. And it's a pretty thin book, so I think it'll be a quick read. And then the last, oh no, there's a bunch more. We're gonna keep going. I'm gonna go quickly. I picked up this P.G. Wodehouse book. I love Jeeves and Worcester. And this is by the same author, but it's called Life at Blandings. And it's just, you know, one of those kind of spoof type books written about the English upper crust and sort of what goes on behind the manor doors. So behind mansion walls, as they say. And then over here, I'll just quickly share this last bunch of books with you. These are all mysteries. This one is a Dick Francis mystery. I love Dick Francis. A lot of his books center on horse racing, and they're always really, really good. This is called The 10-Pound Penalty. So I grabbed that one, and these were all 2 for $1. So, I mean, I was like a kid in a candy store. I mean, I really did go kind of bananas. Then I picked up a couple of books, actually 3 of them, that are part of the same kind of series, historical mystery series. And I've not really read any historical mysteries. So this one is called Murder on Aster Place, a Gaslight Mystery. And this is the first one in the series. Then there's Murder on Washington Square, and these are by Victoria Thompson. And then the third one that I found was called Murder on St. Mark's Place. So this looks like a very, glare is terrible, I'm sorry. This looks like a really kind of a fun series. And again, these are short books, great beach reads or plane reads if you're going on a plane somewhere. And let's see. I picked up this Murder Must Advertise. This is a Dorothy L. Sayers mystery book. This is another author that I was first introduced to by my mom. She would read these when I was a little girl, and I would always see Dorothy L. Sayers books, paperback books, lying around our house. So I was happy to find this. And again, like I said, for 50 cents, you really can't go wrong. I picked up a Lillian Jackson Braun, The Cat Who Smelled a Rat. This is a great series. I'm actually reading one right now. The Cat Who series is wonderful. It's about 2 Siamese cats, Coco and Yum Yum, who help their owner solve mysteries. This is one that's totally new to me, and I only picked it up because I love to knit, and it's a knitting yarn shop mystery, cozy mystery. I mean, does it get any cozier than that? It's called On the Skein of Death. So, delightfully clever, as warm and cozy as a handmade sweater. Okay, right? I'll probably save this for more winter reading because it seems like a winter read, so I'll save that. And then the last book that I'm going to share with you is called The Bone is Pointed. And I have not heard of this, but it's an Inspector Napoleon Bonaparte mystery by Arthur W. Upfield. And again, this looked kind of vintage to me. Phoebe's hot. It's a very hot day today. This is copyright. This is 1974. It was initially published in 1947. So this should be a fun book. Okay, well, that does it for my big book sale haul. Like I said, I did go a little bit crazy, and I will have my reading cut out for me, but I'm hoping to get these in some kind of an order, as I said, and then throughout the summer, I will pop on with videos updating you on what I've read and how I've liked them and how I've rated them. So if you enjoy bookish content, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. What was your favorite book? Do you have some recommendations? And if you've gotten this far in the video and you don't really want to leave a comment, leave me a bookish emoji, a stack of books, a book, something like that, so I know that you are here. Those comments really do help out our channel. All right, and please share this with others who you think may be interested in this type of content. And I will be getting back to you about forming some kind of an online book club. Oh, Phoebe, some kind of an online book club. All right, that's going to do it for today. I'll leave some more bookish videos for you linked at the end of this video and in the description box below for you to watch until our next upload. In the meantime, that's going to do it for today, and I will see you very soon. Bye-bye.